What's up, y'all, and welcome back to She Got Takes, your weekly home for raw, real reactions to the Joe Budden podcast and everything around it. It's me, Portia, and I'm back. I'm so excited to be back with y'all. I know I said weekly, and last week I went on a little family vacation and got a little hectic, as you can imagine. We got all these family members together for a couple days. However, I'm back, number one, feeling great. I went back and listened to that first video I dropped, and man, did I sound sick as a dog. Thank y'all for giving me some love. I'm happy just really making these for fun. I love the podcast. I got lots of opinions. So let's get into this next one, all right? More money, more problems, as they say. The way the pod has been talking lately, I gotta know, are they making money moves or are they low-key admitting to being willing to wow out too much for a bag? Hear me out. Recently, in episode 837, Joe brought up the funny story of Kai Cenat's slap, the little slap-up moment he had with LeBron. You know, the one where he just bust not one, but two half splits in excitement. It was funny, I ain't gonna lie. But come on, the double split dap? Not only is it a little cheesy, it's just a little too much. Ish was like, nah, I wouldn't do that. They're like, because he was kind of like trying to shoot Kai some bell. He's young and all this. And they're like, you wouldn't even do that if you were his age. And of course he says, I wouldn't. But in the same breath, he proceeds to say how the Joe and crew could probably get him to do the same thing for 5 figures. Talk about talking on both sides of your face. And in the same episode, the very same episode, he bet Marc he could do a flat-footed backflip for a small gentleman's wager of $50K. Yo, who is Ish? At this point, someone needs to do a deep dive. Maybe I need to. Just into Ish and why, as long as he or anyone else is getting some spanky, it's all good. Dude, you already tore your ACL. And your ass is back and willing to put yourself at risk. Because it's for some spanky. Even though I'm laughing at Ish and his money-focused ways, this sentiment is kind of seeping through as a thread of discussion on the pods every week. It's almost a part of the pod culture. If you take a look at the recent Patreon episode with Berg, Imani's reflection with Berg on what he do for money when discussing the little nasty Diddy party behaviors was interesting to me, and very interesting to see how the cast reacted to his assertions about his own morals. Or when, later Marc said he'd be Madea for the right price. Hello. And Mel, she even opened up about, over the years not taking certain sexually overt opportunities, and in hindsight, sort of lamenting or regretting it. Listening to them, it became kind of clear to me that, money isn't like, just top of mind for us. But within the content and media space, what you're willing to do to grow your brand or people's awareness of you can be a real issue. What is the constant struggle folks in the entertainment and media and content spaces have to do? Or what is the struggle they feel they have to overcome to excel their careers, right? Like, what are the things that they're asked to do? It seems like they're given many of Sophie's choices, and they may feel concerned for the sake of their own career advancement or, levels of money that they're able to earn. And then, at the same time, this really made me wonder what I would be willing to do for a quote-unquote bag. So much of our world today is validated, or individuals are validated in this world today, rather, by the amount of income they garner. It is almost like some of the most selfish or immoral, rude, nasty, whatever type of behavior is simply forgiven based on the wealth of that individual. Sometimes it seems like how much someone has attained, especially money-wise, grants them this sort of enhanced character or maybe admiration or adoration from people just based on the amount of money that they may have control over. You know, this also came up again in episode 838, the very next episode. They discussed Jeff Bezos and his decision to rent the entire city of Venice. The entire city. And Mel seemed to be on the side of the notion that this is a gratuitous use of his money. She was down with the people. It is inconveniencing. It is unnecessary. Why? Because you can? And good old Ish, and of course Ice, who's already admitted that if he had enough money, he would not be a great person. They both seem to stress, hey, he can flex. He's got the money. He's got the power. So what if the city residents are a little uncomfortable or upset? They're going to bust that bag down. Everything's cool. He's got them. That's just how it works out here. He has the money, so essentially he should be able to buy what he wants. No mind that this is a very slippery slope. It may sound ridiculous, but hey, what if Jeff was like, I also want to rent some of them inmates you got, still paying their debt to society. I'll break you off a little bit. Let them be workers for my wedding. It might sound ridiculous, but that's not really an implausible narrative, especially when we grant this idea that, okay, they have the money, they influence someone to do it, so it must be okay. Just because you have the money, it doesn't mean the things that you're doing are just, it's all right, it's cool. You know, you got some money from it. So what someone's doing once they get that money, it doesn't matter. They had the money. You found a way to get what you want and to bully your way or to get whatever you wanted based on what you have. And sometimes I think the cast really, they seem to sometimes miss the points about unchecked ego and wealth, right? And sort of how unchecked wealth kind of aligns with, you know, outlandish ego with some people. And it's crazy to me because they seem to have, over the last year or so, really started to see how, you know, this really impacted Puff, right? Puff went too far. But we don't see the parallels of the ballsy behavior of Bezos. It's the same attitude, right? But hey, this take is bigger than the JBP. Money is on all of our minds. And I just find it interesting how the cast really peels back every week, kind of letting us know a little bit more and more, you know, what they're really willing to do and the line they're willing to toe for a little extra cash. You know, in closing, I used to think that this was just Ish on his Mr. Krabs, right? Give me the money, right? But now the whole cast circles back to money a lot. And honestly, I know, who isn't right now? All the essentials are costing us. People losing their jobs, and the struggle is real here in America, right? But man, what would some of us do for money? That's a real question that I feel like this podcast, and in some strange way, is making me think about. Is it really content over everything? Where's the line, right? How far would you blur the lines of your own personal boundaries or morals to gain more wealth or power? Man, it's an interesting questions. And I would love to hear your opinions. So if you wouldn't mind, drop your thoughts below. Is there something you're like, I wouldn't do it, but if I was paid enough, my opinion would change? I appreciate y'all listening to me again this week. I really wanted to deep dive this take. I know there's going to be way more conversations about this on the pod, so let's keep our eyes and ears pierced. And if you're rocking with She Got Takes, like the video, please subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Mwah.
Portia. Her name is I think you're talking about Portia. She's not there no more. I miss her. I text her.